بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
बात तेरी करबला जारी रहेगी, बात तेरी करबला जारी रहेगी, बात तेरी करबला जारी रहेगी, जारी रहेगी ये अज़ा जारी रहेगी, जारी रहेगी ये अज़ा जारी रहेगी, ये अज़ा जारी रहेगी, ये अज़ा जारी रहेगी।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى في القرآن الحكيم: إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. صلى الله عليه وسلم. In this gathering, a gathering which is the gathering of izhar, demonstration of love for Ahlul Bayt. And indeed, it is said these gatherings are the maktab, place, Maqtal Hussain, the place from which people learn about the message of Hussain. Ashara in Urdu says, Iman ka khazana dare sarwar se mila hai. Iman ka khazana hame dare sarwar se mila hai. Quran hame sibte payambar se mila hai. Quran hame सिफ्ते पैगंबर से मिला है. इस्लाम फला फूला है शब्बीर के घर से. इस्लाम फला फूला है शब्बीर के घर से. दुनिया को मिला जो भी इसी घर से मिला है. दुनिया को मिला जो भी इसी घर से मिला है. और करबला को कैसे अच्छी तरह समेट के कहा, हुर जाके मिला शह से तो महसूस हुआ है. हुर जाके मिला शह से तो महसूस हुआ है. एक कतरे नाचीज समंदर से मिला है. एक कतरे नाचीज समंदर से मिला है. In these couplets, for my younger brothers who do not understand, we say that whatever we have, the iman, our belief, is all come from the household of Ahlul Bayt and Imam Hussain. Even the Quran that we have got has come from the household of Ahlul Bayt. Salawat. In the last few days, Alhamdulillah, in Edmonton, in the city, the province of Alberta, I've seen youngsters come forward and recite marsiyas and ash'ars. It is a very important aspect of making this institution of azadari alive forever in the future. And we need these youngsters to come. So I remembered a hadith narrated in Rijal al-Shaykh al-Tusi, narrated by our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq salawatu Our Imam says, there is none who recites poetry about Imam Hussain. There is none who recites poetry about Imam Hussain and weeps or make other weep by the means of it, except that Allah will make paradise incumbent upon him and forgive all his sins. The hadith is saying that those who engage in azadari, there is a great azma, there is a great reward for it. And inshallah tomorrow and some other days, I will show you how the shaheeds of Karbala have estimated the status of azadari themselves. Today, As I was walking in, there were a couple of things that I noticed. First, a very beautiful sign out there in front of our mosque, in front of our center here, just outside the door, about the importance of adhan. Adhan, it is said in that hadith that is there, that when adhan is recited, and if we engage in the worldly talk, worldly affairs, 70 years of our amal are becoming hacked as if they are not there anymore. They disappear. A hadith that is worth remembering, emphasizing the importance of azan. And just before that I was talking to Brother Zuhair, he was telling me he saw an email which shows that if you look at the whole world now and the number of centers we have got and number of places where the Muslims are, every moment when azan is recited, by the time azan finishes here in Edmonton, somewhere else it starts. And everywhere in the world, every time there is azan being recited. That's how Muslims are spread all over. But the reason for picking this topic is, as I requested you, that you should watch obviously the video clip from Sayyid Muhammad Rizvi, and inshallah you'd have seen the important message that he was giving, that we need to understand about the unity between Muslims and how we can portray positively about the Shia faith. Very good clips. Those who have got emails, please watch this. And inshallah tomorrow I will read out the statement for Ayatollah Al-Udhama Sayyid Sistani about this issue of Muslim unity. But you will have noticed that I have started a topic about the challenges within. Whilst we are very much for unity, and unity is the central point, we need to be equipped to be able to answer to our fellow brothers in Muslims about questions that they arise, questions that they put to us about our practices and our faith, so that they out of their ghafla and jahalat do not go on saying that we are doing things wrong and Shia are out of the faith of Islam. So we need to be equipped with that. And I started already talking about Azadari, crying for Imam Hussein, and how we can prove from books of Ahl Sunnah that Azadari was an institution established by the Holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And yesterday we looked at wudu. Today I want to look at adhan. Because I was in Durban in South Africa for the Muharram, Ashara Muharram, and there is a unique situation. Inshallah, when I get a chance, I'll explain you more about that, where there are a lot of original Shias who, due to taqayya, remained as Sunnis for 50, 100 years ago, when they moved from India, Pakistan and settled there. And now they are converting back into Islam. And there are some who came from Pakistan who are still Ahl Sunnah from their families. And one young boy was in the mosque, and he said to me after the majlis that I like your majlis very much and your message, but till now I wasn't sure that Shia's practices are different. I now know that my grandfathers were proper Sunnis, were telling me, and my fathers, that Shias even do different azan. Their azan is also wrong. So he asked me that question, and I try to explain to him, and I will try and bring that points forward just now. But before I do that, there are youngsters in this majlis today. The importance of adhan is so great that our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq salawatullahi alayhi, in a hadith says that when it's not adhan that we recite only when you are here in the mosque. He says, whenever you pray, you recite adhan and iqamah. And he says, those who pray adhan and iqamah, when they pray the namaz, 2 rows of malaika stand behind them in jama'at. 2 rows. For every namaz that you recite, there will be 2 rows of malaika praying behind you. If you recite adhan and iqamah. And if you only recite adhan or only iqamah, then only 1 row. So somebody said, to our sixth Imam, Yabna Rasulillah, how big is this row? What you are talking, when you say there's a row of malaika that stand behind you, when you recite adhan, how big is that row? And our Imam said that at the least, the row of malaika is from the east to the west. And at the greatest, it is from the arsh, from the earth to the arsh upstairs. That great a row of malaika recite namaz with us if we do adhan. So when we are at home, take that minute or two, because adhan is that practice of doing your shahada. You say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah. We are giving our testimony and witness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very important to remember the adhan. Now the reply that I gave to my young brother who was an Ahl Sunnah, and alhamdulillah, by the end of the majlises in Muharram, he told me that he had inclinations towards Shia, sitting in the Azadaria Hussein, alhamdulillah. So people are converting quite a lot there back into Shia. But to him I gave a reply, that if he looks at Sahih Muslim volume 148, there clearly narrated that the adhan that Ahl Sunnah have adopted, Hayya, where they drop Hayya ala khairil amal, from it, they say it was dropped by the second Khalifa Umar, because he feared, now this is not our book, Sahih Muslim volume 148, he feared that people would think that namaz is better than battle and people would not go and fight the battles for him. So he dropped that Hayya ala khairil amal. So azan at the Prophet's time, according to Sahih Muslim, was the same as we recite now. Hayya ala khairil amal included in it. And furthermore, the same, another hadith from them, Sunan al-Tamridi, volume 164, states that Umar was sleeping. Second Khalifa Umar was sleeping. And somebody, the Muazzin, came and woke him up. It's not from our hadith I'm talking about, from their hadiths. And woke him up and said, As-salatu khayru min al-nawm, to him. That sleep is better than, so prayers is better than sleep. At that stage, Umar woke up and said, what a beautiful phrase I've got. From now onwards, every azan will have it. Now that is from not our source. So I told this young brother, why are you saying we have deviated from our adhan? Look at your own source of the book. What does it say? It says very clearly that these phrases, what was there in the Prophet's time and what has been added on. But this guy was quite learned, or he had learned a bit about Shiaism as well. So he said, what about Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah? Because that couldn't have been there at the time of the Holy Prophets. So I correctly said to him that certainly most of the life of the Holy Prophet it wasn't there. But there is an hadith that exists that when in Ghadir, the Holy Prophet made Mawla Ali, lifted him up and said, Man kuntum Mawla wa haza Aliyun Mawla. At that stage, Abu Dharr Ghaffari went up on the mimbar after that and he recited the adhan in which he added Ashhadu anna Amir al-Mu'minin Aliyan waliyullah. And then people ran to the Holy Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, according to this hadith. Now, I must say that the Ahl Sunnah don't agree with this hadith. Other hadiths are all from Ahl Sunnah. This hadith exists in the Shia books, but there is a hadith. Says, Ya Rasulullah, what did Abu Dharr just do? He's added something in the adhan. At that stage, Rasul Pak turns to the people and said, didn't you all just now go and say, Bakhin, Bakhin, Yabna Abi Talib? Didn't you go and say, Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah to everybody just now? The Holy Prophet says that, but yes, let us remember this, that when we do adhan, according to all fiqh masalas, this is an additional jumla, that is for sawab that we say, the original azan is as the Holy Prophet did, which included Hayya ala khairil amal. And this is the true fact. Whenever we do niyat and we say Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah, we do for asal sawab, an increase of sawab. But all the fiqh masalas of all the marja say that it was not part of the adhan in the Holy Prophet's time, apart from this hadith that happened towards the end. Salawat. So it's important for us to equip ourselves with one by one questions. And inshallah, there are a number of questions. Why do we pray on Sajdagah? Why do we pray together namaz? Why don't we pray Tarawih? All those answers from their books, so that we as Ahl Shia should not feel in any way hide ourselves. We can go and answer from the books of Islam that this is the way, this is the true path. Indeed, the true religion Islam, inna deena inda Allahi Islam. And those who understand the true faith, the faith in which, when I started discussing with you some time back about the importance of attaching yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the direct connection that you feel what Allah wishes you to do. And it's so important, and it's been demonstrated again and again in a number of narrations. Hazrat Isa Ruhullah was asked, Ya Nabi Allah, Ya Isa. Angels came and asked Hazrat Isa, do you want to find out who is the Khalil of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this earth? Now this is the time of Nabi Isa, as we say Jesus. And he was asked, do you want to find out who is the Khalil, the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? At that stage, Nabi Isa, of course, was very anxious. If the angel is telling me there's a sincere friend that Allah calls him a friend in this earth, I must want to see him. So Nabi Isa said, Ya Allah, please show me who your friend is. And Nabi Isa is directed to go towards a particular clearing in a forest, far away. And Nabi Isa goes there, and he finds there's hardly anyone. When he looks at it, there's nobody there. And then, when he goes nearer, he sees an old woman without limbs, without hands, and without legs, sitting there, absolutely destitute. Even the flies were around her face and she cannot remove the flies. And she's sitting there. And Hazrat Isa did salam to the old lady, and she replied, Wa alaykum salam ya Ruhullah. And Nabi Isa is shocked. How did this lady in the forest, who is blind and who can't see and her hands and limbs aren't there, reply to me, Ya Isa Ruhullah, salam alaykum to you? How? Wa alaykum salam. And he asked, Nabi Isa asked, Oh Khatun, how did you know who I am? And the lady says, Ya Isa, the God that sent you to me, the God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that sent you to me, can also tell me that His Ruhullah is coming to me. The status of somebody. And then Nabi Isa is amazed. He says, all the time I have been observing you, you are doing zikr, shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What have you got to thank? You don't have eyes, you don't have hands, you don't have feet, and you are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she turns and says, Ya Ruhullah, don't you see this body that Allah has given me? It enables me to bear the burden which Allah has put on me. Don't you see the tongue that I have with which I can speak? And don't you see the knowledge and the brain that I have, with which I can thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can I not do the shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? True Islam is understanding what is Allah and what are His ni'mah. Inna deena inda Allahi Islam. Only religion acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. A complete system of guidance from creation of Hazrat Adam to Khatimun Nabiyyin, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The religion of nature, the religion of peace and tranquility, the religion of compassion. We have seen over the last few days, we have finished 5 majlises of Ashara Zainabiyya, and this is the 6th night. And we have seen what the religion of compassion is, what are the ideal qualities of a religion. And we have seen what the religion is all about, the mutual rights of the fellow human beings and the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The religion which is a complete guidance for mankind till the day of judgment, till we are in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the only religion that gives us unison with our soul and body and peace within us. We saw up to now, from the example of Sheikh Sulduk in the Well of Life, we saw Imam Ali's beautiful description about Islam within 2 words of Huququllah and Huququl Nas, human rights and the rights of Allah. We saw the replies that Islam was not spread by sword, the challenges against Islam, and how Islam encourages peace and tranquility. We saw the importance of the rights of the fellow human beings, and inshallah in the future we will look at how women in Islam are viewed. What is the views of Islam in women? How elevated women are and not as the West perceive. Why we just so recently on the television, tornadoes. We had snow here, but in America, in US, there were tornadoes. We saw just a couple of years ago, major disasters, tsunami. Why does it happen? What is the explanation in Islam? And is Allah just when these things happen? Inshallah, we will see. But we started looking yesterday at how dynamic Islam, the religion is. Islam, the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How it can incorporate the new challenges of life. How it can tell you about the situations. And we even saw, for example, now, as we were discussing with some brothers, that cigarette smoking is proved so harmful that many buildings are now being banned, that you cannot smoke in there because even the passive smoking is harmful. Islam is dynamic. Number of years back, our Marja Alam, when they had the medical evidence about harm of smoking, gave the decree, their fatwa. And they gave a clear renunciation about those who want to start smoking, that this is certainly haram. So, Islam is dynamic. It moves. And we saw from how different type of religions there are. I want to build up on yesterday what I left. So quickly going through this. Religion that are straight-jacket. There are iron jackets around us. We cannot move. Catholicism or religion like Anglican Christianity that just changes its guidance every moment according to wherever the wind blows. And then there are the religion which has fundamentals that are prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then there is room for maneuver, for changes in the future, which can be interpreted from the same rules. The concept of taqleed is most important for us. You see, in everyday life, all of us know that if we are ill, we'll go to an expert, a doctor. And if we are more ill and we need to see a consultant in the hospital, we'll go to the best consultant. And we will ask the opinion, what's wrong with me? How can I be cured? In Islam, there's a system where there are experts. And I want to introduce you how these experts are, how great these personalities are, and how learned they are, and what sort of knowledge they have. But they give you guidance and are able to develop guidance according to the time, using the basic principles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set. I gave you example of Sheikh Mufid yesterday, and how Imam Zamana came and helped to rectify what was apparently a minor mistake, interpretation, and how Imam Zamana oversees the work of Marja Alam. Our 12th Imam, Hujjat ibn Hassan, salawatullahi alayhi. In In a riwayat says that in my ghaiba, this is the Imam's own hadith, he says, refer to those who know the riwayah and the hadith. And these marjas, they have so much effort. I remember when Iran revolution happened, and I was in England at that time, and I was a student still. And at that time we were reading various newspapers about the report that was happening. We saw how Ayatollah Khomeini, may Allah send blessings on his soul, how he came from Paris, and we saw all that moving drama. All of you here would have seen it, those who were here at that time. At that time, the Financial Times, one of the most respected newspaper in England, which is read by every director, every minister, every person in England of any authority, made 3-page detailed analysis. They were shocked. How can a person who is just a religious scholar command so much respect? What are these ayatullahs? So his heading was, do you want to find out who an ayatullah is? Who a marja is? And in there, this is the English writer telling the English people, the local people, saying that these marja alam, don't underestimate them. They are expert in science, in philosophy, in logic. These people, marjas, study ulums, the knowledge of logic. They understand counseling, they understand psychology, and they understand knowledge from every field. And then they analyze that Islamic knowledge, how much guidance there is from all these areas. So marja alam is not an ordinary person. And the amount of effort that they put studying. Number of years. We study for 5-6 years and we are a professional dentist, doctor or accountant or whatever. But marja alam study for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. They study all their life. And the amount of effort that they put. A marja alam, for example, the previous marja before, Ayatollah Khomeini, may Allah's blessings be on him, he was one night engaged in just one question. There's a knowledge called ilmul rijal. Ilmul rijal is derivative. Where does the law derive from? Check the sources. Who has said what? Ilmul rijal means check the authenticity of the person. Did that person, was he normally an honest person? Did he lie? Did he have any reason not to say these things? What sort of character did he have? Was he an adil person? Then was there a corroborative other hadith? Was he present when this thing was said? All this knowledge, detailed analysis. Ayatollah Khomeini on just one masala, one person's checking, spent 3 nights and days only stopping for hajat and eating and prayers just to research on one person's background, whether he could accept that hadith. 3 nights, whole day and night, spent in just researching. So the fatwas they give is not from an ordinary source. And that is why they have impact. Fatwas are given for many reasons. There is one great fatwa, it's called the fatwa of tobacco, by Ayatollah Shirazi, long way back. See, the American Tobacco Company was getting great influence, and by going into these areas like Iran and Iraq, they were colonizing the whole areas. At that stage, when Ayatollah Shirazi found out that, at that time it was not the medical reason, but when he found out that there is an intention, a political intention to take over the country, he gave a fatwa that for everybody it is haram from today. Not whether you smoked before or not. You should all abandon all forms of tobacco. Next day, the streets of Iran and Iraq were lined with tobacco on the streets. People abandoned it. And American Tobacco Company had to withdraw from that area. The power of marja. Didn't we see that power? You see, even great marja like Sayyid Mohsin Hakim, sometimes they just ask you a pertinent question. I heard from Mullah Asghar Marhum himself that a team of Khoja Biradarans from East Africa went to see Sayyid Mohsin Hakim many years back. And when they went to him, they sat with him, he talked, he asked them questions, and then he asked them this one pertinent question. Where do you exactly come from? He knew where he was going. They said, from Africa, East Africa. Then he said, why is there not even one black person amongst you? Now that question was not just an ordinary question. It was a question saying, what have you done to spread the tabligh and the message of Ahlul Bayt amongst the blacks? And after that, you see the marhum father of Sayyid Muhammad Rizvi that you see in Toronto was called from India, and a Bilal Muslim mission was established. Today from Tanzania, Kenya, there are thousands and thousands of Shia just because of that one question. And in Qom, if you ever go there and you go to Madrasa Imam Khomeini, you will find so many black sheikhs studying Islam and Shia Islam. Just one question from a marja asking, are you doing your duty? So marjas have great influence. We saw the influence of Ayatollah Sistani during the Iraq situation, when we saw that Al-Ghasadr was involved in this crisis in Najaf, and how from London he issued statements when he was there for treatment and went back immediately even though he was ill. And the street was lined up for the marja to welcome and accept his advice to seek peaceful means to resolve the problems in Najaf. We have found how the power of Ayatollah Khomeini is, which I explained to you yesterday. Indeed, if you ask our Sunni brothers, the Sunni scholars have made statements, they have written many analyses about the Shias. They say the greatest power, and this was also a guy called Michael Bryant. He's an ex-CIA person who has written a book. And he says, analyzing the Shia community, he says, I see three great strengths in them. Now let's recognize our own strength. He says the first strength is this mimbar and Azaya Hussein. He says this mimbar is so powerful. It delivers the message of Hussein every year and right the year throughout. And these people are made alert and awake. Shias are awake and alive because of this mimbar. And then he said, the second institution, he says, Marja' alam and taqleed. The institution of taqleed, following the best expert and an adil person. That is such a strong institution that the Shias have great strength from it. And then he said, the third institution is the institution of Khums. Khums is that institution, one of the fairest system of taxation. After you have got your annual income, you deduct all your legitimate expense, whatever you need to spend on you and your family, whatever your needs are, legitimate needs. On your savings, we give 20% of that towards homes, from which we find centers like this opening, from which we find Marja' Alam doing great works throughout the world. But this analyst, he says it is these three institutions that we have. And our Marja' Alam are great. Their humbleness is so great. Those who study and look at Tawzul Masail, we should all have a Tawzul Masail in our house. We should read Tawzul Masail. And in Tawzul Masail, our Marja actually talk about fatwas in different ways. Look at their humbleness. They will give you either a fatwa that this is wajib or haram, or they will tell you it's mustahab or ihtiyat mustahab, or they will tell you it's ihtiyat wajib. Now ihtiyat wajib means, first he'll say this is haram or halal from my best research. There is conclusive evidence that this is halal or haram. But if there is even a slight doubt in him, he will err towards precaution and then tell you ihtiyat wajib, which means if there's another marja, another expert, you can refer to him on this issue, because I am pretty certain that this is the answer, but you can refer to another issue. They will never go beyond what they know. They have this great humbleness. And this institution of marja is not something that is done lightly. It was set up by our various phases during our Aimma's time. And if you look at the system of marjaiyat and ijtihad and taqleed, it started in 3 phases. Ijtihad started in Prophet's time. Those who needed to follow anything, they would look at Prophet and up to the first Imam's time. They would look at the Quran, they would look at the Sunnah, they would look at the qawl, the speech of the Prophet, and they would look at the fail, the action of the Prophet. But from the onset of the 3rd century, the time of our 5th Imam, to the ghaibah of our 12th Imam, there were principles established. I don't want to go to technical things because it's a majlis, but I think the youngsters should be aware and the community should be aware how marjas derive these fatwas. They established principles, and 400 basic principles were established. And it happened that this was a formula, a methodology which people can use. Number of principles like this were established. 6th Imam's time, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq salawatullah. One follower of the Imam was walking along and he stumbled upon a very big piece of rock, and his feet and especially his nail got broken and was bleeding, profusely bleeding. He stopped the bleeding and put the bandage around and came to the Imam. Ya Imam, you know that Masa is wajib on us, I want to pray namaz. How do I pray namaz? Now Imam could have given him the answer straight away. I'm just trying to say how Imam set the principles from the 6th Imam time. And I gave you hadith yesterday, the 6th Imam said to people who came from Basra, go and ask the local experts. Here the Imam is setting the principles. Imam says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He does not wish hardship on you. He used the Quranic ayah. And then he went on to pronounce. He said, there's a bandage there. There may be blood underneath the bandage. You stop the bleeding now. You do jabira, which is you do the masa on the top of the bandage. Because now you are wounded, your foot is wounded, you are allowed to do that. Now Imam was setting principles. Imam was telling people how to do things. And at Ghaibat al-Sughra, Imam Zamana, as you know, appointed 4 naibs. I don't have time to go through all those details. But the naibs that were appointed gave fatwas and verdicts on behalf of Imam Zamana. And after that, in Ghaibat al-Sughra, after Ghaibat al-Sughra, the Ghaibat al-Kubra came in. And at that stage, the status of the true ulama was emphasized. Indeed, if you look at the hadith of the Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu says that the status of the ulama in this Akhir Zaman is like the Anbiya of Bani Israel. That's how great status they are, like the prophets of Bani Israel. So we got to understand how great these marjas are, and there are a number of marjas. There is Ayatollah Hafiz Bashir, one marja who is from Pakistan, from the subcontinent of India. And he actually speaks Urdu. He's a great marja in Najaf now. He's been there for many years since Ayatollah Khui's time. And he's at present. Ayatollah Sistani we already know because we all follow. There are people like Ayatollah Fazl Lankarani, Ayatollah Shirazi, and many more, Nasir Bakarim Shirazi and many more that are there. And each of them are qualified at the highest level. I just want to finish off the marjaiyat just briefly to explain that these marjas are lieutenants of Islam and lieutenants of Ahlul Bayt. They are the guidance system that Ahlul Bayt have set for us to follow. And I will just give you one example. It is many years ago that when I was in Oakland, there was a person, an Irani gentleman, who had served in the Basij force. and he was there at the Iranian Revolution time in Iran. A very, very muttaqi person. He was also leading prayers there. And he narrated something to me, because he was involved in directory of fisheries in Iran. As soon as Ayatollah Khomeini came into power in Iran, the first question arose. These trawlers, these boats that go and get fish from the deep sea. You see, the consciousness arose from the Shia population. Are we eating halal, are we eating haram? So they asked that question immediately to Marja. They said that what do we do? Our trawlers go into the deep sea and take this huge wire, huge nets that they go in. And they go into the deep sea and pull out the fishes. But the force that is used to pull them out, most of the fish are stunned or dead when they come up on the top of the trawlers. And they asked, how can we eat that fish? Because Sharia says the fish must be caught alive. Look at the consciousness when it arises. And this deep sea, he was involved in this fisheries directorate, and he said to me that for a few days the directorate issued an order, stop fishing completely in Iran till we find out the solution. And marjas were asked. And marja alam, using scientific evidence, got the marine scientists together and said to them, explain to us about this deep sea fish. What is the natural environment and what would happen if they came out from the natural environment? By the time the research was complete, the marjas established that the fish that is in the deep sea, when it comes out from the deep sea environment, up, it would die because that is its natural environment. And they issued a fatwa that, or they would be stunned if they come up suddenly like that. They issued the fatwa that the natural environment, they should be alive when they are caught. So when they are being caught, they are alive. When they are brought up, they may be stunned, but they were alive when they were caught. And accordingly, the deep sea trawlers started fishing again, and people in Iran started eating fish. So, how up to date this particular situation is as far as marjaiyat is concerned? Let us understand all the issues, whether it is the cloning, whether it's the test tube babies, whether it is on any other issues, contemporary issues. One or two youngsters were asking me very important issues. Of course, there are new developing issues like stem cells and other things. But the guiding principle of never taking a life will always be there, because I explained you those original principles that our imams have set. The marja have to follow those principles. Today, in the English Masai, there are a few youngsters here. I wish to narrate to the non-Urdu speaking young brothers something that I recited, partly something that I recited in yesterday's Masai, and something that I could not recite in yesterday's Masai in Urdu as well. Because our youngsters need to understand the personality of Abul Fazl al-Abbas. They need to understand the personality of Alamdar Hussain. This great personality, Abul Fazl al-Abbas, who had such great strength, who was one of those soldiers that enemies feared. How, if I ever get chance, inshallah some other time, this is not the time, whole majlis can be recited on how Abul Fazl al-Abbas planned the defense of Imam Hussein's Khayyam on the day of Karbala. He was just not commander of carrying the flag. He, as is a duty of every Muslim, but he was Abul Fazl al-Abbas, defending his Mawla and his children. How he dug trenches, how he stationed soldiers across, and how 72 band of army could have been wiped out in 1 hour, 1 minute. How many thousands were there? 30,000, 60,000, some say 100,000 Yazid's forces. Water has been cut off. But Abul Fazl al-Abbas's bravery and his commander, his tactics, how they defended as long as they could. That's another topic. Today, in Masai in English, before I go to Urdu Masai, I wish to narrate something that I said yesterday, because that particular point that I narrated in Urdu is such that when we go in our quiet and think about beloved Mawlana Abul Fazl Abbas, we will feel the tears coming out of our eyes. Because, you see, the point that I mentioned yesterday, that whenever you stumble on a rock or you fall, first thing, the instinct is that our hands reach out so that we reduce the fall and our face is not hitting the ground on the rock. But in Karbala, Abul Fazl Abbas's hands were severed. And when he fell, when the swords were thrown on him, when the arrows were thrown on him, when the spears were thrown on him, when he fell, there was no hands. And when he fell on his head. He fell on his head down on the grounds of Karbala. And the arrow that had pierced him on the mush, the water bottle that he was bringing, went through his back as he fell through. This is a point, the poignant point of Abul Fazl Abbas. And another point that I couldn't mention in Urdu, I'll say it in English today, and then before moving to another masayibs in Urdu. And that is that sometime back, not many, couple of 100 years ago, what happened that in Makhtar, this is related in Makhtar, that Allama Baharul Ulum was alive at that time, and he was called. He says, Allama, oh our great alim, we have a situation. Abul Fazl Abbas's grave, which is, may Allah, first of all, I must pray at this stage, may Allah give us all tawfiq to go for ziyarah for Abul Fazl Abbas and Mawla Hussain. But the grave that is there is right at the bottom. We never see the grave. We see the zari when you go there. Now the grave is at the bottom, but the grave was damaged or broken due to something, water or something. And the Allama was asked, please could you come and guide us what to do now? That wall of the grave was damaged. So Allama goes with the builder down in the grave, right at the bottom of the grave. And this is called the Sadaf. And as they go down there, inside, the Allama tells the builder, let's now do what is necessary to resurrect the boundaries of the grave. And the builder turns to Allama Bahrul Ulum and says, Ya Allama, oh Allama, every time in the Masayib we hear, look at the size of the grave. It looks so small. And every time we hear in the Masayib, it looks small. We hear in the Masayib that Abul Fazl Abbas was so tall and so strong that when he put his feet on the stirrup of the horse used to break and his feet used to dangle down. Are this true? Was Fazl Abbas so tall and strong? Why is the grave so small? And at this stage, the Allama took off his amama, went to the wall and started hitting his head on the wall. He said, oh builder, what you have told me has freshened what happened in Karbala. Definitely Abbas was strong and tall, but once his hands were severed, the Zalims, they cut him into pieces, so many pieces. The spears and arrows were thrown at him, that the swords cut him into so many pieces that when his body was gathered, it was just put into this small grave. This is what happened to Abul Fazl Abbas. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Salli ala Muhammadin wa ala. How many, क्या कुर्बानी करबला वालों ने दी है इस्लाम को बचाने के लिए. दीन हक इस्लाम, वो दीन जो अल्लाह का पसंदीदा दीन है. अल्लाह ने कहा है सूरह बकरा में कि कोई और दीन अल्लाह को मकबूल नहीं है सिवाय इस्लाम. अल्लाह का सबसे पसंदीदा दीन. और हर आइम्मा ने हर कोशिश की कि हमारे तक ये दीन हक, दीन इस्लाम पहुंच जाए, जिससे हम आखिरत में उखरवी जिंदगी में कामयाब हो जाए. ہمارے پہلے امام مولا متقیان اسد اللہ الغالب علی ابن ابی طالب صلوات اللہ علیہ ایک دن مکہ سے کوفے کی طرف سفر کر رہے تھے. سفر میں تھے اور سفر کے راستے میں ایک یہودی ساتھ ملا, مولا کے ساتھ رہا. میں جو پہلو انسانیت کی بات کرنا چاہتا ہوں آج, جو میرے موضوع میں, مولا نے کہا یہودی تو جا رہا ہے, چل میرے ساتھ, وہی راستہ ہم جا رہے ہیں. اور مولا نے ہر قسم کا حقوق انسان کا اظہار کیا. پانی تھا پانی دیا, دانا تھا دانا دیا, کوئی بھی مشکل تھی تو اس کے ساتھ رہے اور ساتھ ساتھ چلتے رہے. بتایا بھی نہیں, یہودی کو پتا نہیں کہ یہ انسان, یہ بندہ کون ہے. وہ تو سمجھ رہا ہے یہ کوئی فرشتہ ہے. چلتے چلتے آگے بڑھے, کوفے کی نزدیک پہنچے. ابھی یہ وہ جگہ پہ آئے جہاں کوفے کا راستہ بدل رہا تھا اور یہودی کا راستہ بدل رہا تھا آگے. تو مولا یہودی کے ساتھ آگے آگے چلنے لگے. تو یہودی مولا کی طرف اشارہ کر کے کہا یا مولا, اور کہا اے انسان تو کیوں میرے ساتھ ابھی آ رہا ہے؟ تو اتنا اچھا بندہ, ہمارا سفر بہت اچھا رہا, لیکن تیرا راستہ وہ ہے جو پیچھے سے گزر گئے, ابھی تو کتنے آگے میرے ساتھ آ گئے. تو مولا نے کہا اے یہودی, اے میرے بھائی, اے میرے انسانی بھائی, میں آپ کے ساتھ اس لیے آ رہا ہوں کہ میں چاہتا ہوں کہ آپ کے ساتھ چند تھوڑے زیادہ قدم آ کے آپ کو خداحافظ ہی کر دوں. آپ کے ساتھ چلوں, آپ کے راستے میں چلے جائے, پھر میں راستے میں جاؤں گا. کیونکہ ہمارے رسول حضرت محمد مصطفیٰ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے یہی انسانیت کا سبق ہم کو سکھایا ہے. بس مولا علی کا یہ سننا تھا اور یہودی کام میں لگا. یہ اسلام ہے. ہم تو سمجھ رہے تھے کہ اسلام ظلم کا دین ہے, یہ اسلام ہے جو انسانیت کو اتنی بڑھا رہی ہے. بس اس نے کہا مولا آج ادھر ہی اب میں کھڑا ہوں, آپ میرے سے کلمہ پڑھوائیے اور میں مسلمان ہو رہا ہوں. یہ انسانیت کا پہلو جو مولا نے دکھایا. بس وقت گزر چکا اور آج میں نے اردو میں بھی مسائل پڑھنے, خاص انداز میں مسائل اور مسائل بھی پڑھنے. یہ انسانیت دکھانے کے لیے ہی کربلا والے آئے تھے اور کربلا والے نے سب کچھ قربانی, جو کچھ تھا اللہ کے راہ میں دے دیا. ہائے ارے تقدیر زمین کربلا میں روز عاشور ام لیلا کے چاند کو گہن لگا. علی اکبر کے غم میں ضعیف ام لیلا کا جگر پھٹ گیا. کربلا سے کوفہ کی راہ کا واقعہ ہے. جب گاؤں کی عورتوں کی نظر علی اکبر کے سر پہ پڑی تو ان کے جگر تڑپ گئے اور ایک ضعیفہ آگے بڑھی, پکارنے لگی اے میرے گاؤں کے عورتوں, اس جوان کے کٹے ہوئے سر نے میرے جگر کو ٹکڑے کر دیا. آؤ تم سب میرے قریب آؤ, میں دعا کرتی ہوں, تم آمین کہنا. یہ کہہ کے وہ ضعیفہ زمین پر بیٹھ گئی, ہاتھوں کو آسمان کی جانب بلند کیا. خدایا جب یہ نوجوان قتل ہوا ہو تب اس کی ماں زندہ نہ ہو, ماں کا کلیجہ اس جوان کے داغ سے ٹکڑے نہ ہوا ہو, ایسا ہی ہوا ہو کہ اس کی ماں مر چکی ہو. ضعیفہ کی دعا سن کر یہ دعا سن کر ایک قیدی بیوی جو سربرہنا شکر بے کجاوا پر بیٹھی تھی, وہ پکارنے لگی اے ضعیفہ تم نے بہت دیر کر دی, دعا کام ایسا ہے کہ ماں باپ سے یہ نام اٹھایا نہیں جاتا. ضعیفہ کی دعا سن کر ام لیلا کو عاشور کا وہ منظر یاد آیا کہ جب علی اکبر رخصت کے لیے خیام میں آئے، خیمے کا پردہ اٹھا اور گرتا رہا. بیویوں کا شور تھا واک برا واک برا. جب ام لیلا کو اکبر کا غرنا یاد آیا تو اپنا کلیجہ تھام کر رونے لگی. ہائے مولا حسین کہ آنکھوں میں کیسا اندھیرا آیا تھا اور پکارتے تھے اینا اینا علی. ابھی ایک مرثیہ خان یہی کہتا تھا، مولا لاش لا رہے تھے اور کہہ رہے تھے یا علی یا علی. مولا نے جب جوان بیٹے کے لاش پہ آئے تو کیا دیکھا؟ ہائے وہ کڑیل جوان اینگا رگڑتا ہے. ہائے مولا نے اکبر کے سینے سے وہ برچھی کیسے نکالی ہوگی؟ قیامت کی گھڑی تھی وہ جب لوٹا ہوا قافلہ شام کی قید سے رہا ہو کر کربلا آیا. علی اکبر کی ضعیف ماں نے جب دور سے علی اکبر کا قبر دیکھا پکارنے لگی، اے بیٹا علی اکبر، اے